Hello, I'm Lisa McCullough, and I am the Art Adventure Coordinator for St. Joe's. This is my first year being a coordinator, but I have been a volunteer for Art Adventure since my middle child started kindergarten in 2017. But this is my first year as coordinator, so thank you for volunteering and joining us. By now, you should have received your Art Adventure packet. This year's theme is Let's Celebrate Life. And we're doing a new format. Well, we started a new format last year, and which we're continuing with this year. So it's an on-site museum. The students are going to see all 6 pieces of art at one time versus previous years, we've had a volunteer come in and do 2 pieces a time over a course of 3 sessions. So when you join us as a picture person this year for the on-site museum, you will most likely be sitting at a chair with the artwork on an easel, and you'll be talking about the same piece of art to each group that comes through. Some groups are a little bit short on volunteers right now. You may be asked to do 2 pieces of art. I'm going to jump in as much as needed for all the groups. So I'm learning all 6 pieces of art. I am hoping that by the end of this week, I will be able to send emails out to each time slot and have people sign up for the piece of artwork that they want to present. Again, it's 6 pieces of art. You're more than welcome to learn all 6 pieces. But in the interest of time and being considerate of our volunteers, if I get to it, I'd like people to sign up for which piece of art they want to concentrate on. That means you'll learn 1 or 2 pieces versus all 6 pieces. And I realize that a lot of our volunteers are new this year. And with Art Adventure being in November, we haven't had a lot of time to train for this. Usually, the picture people will sign up for a 1-hour tour at the MIA, which is the Minneapolis Institute of Art, and go and learn about all 6 pieces of artwork. We haven't had a lot of time since we received the information for the signups for the tours for when our Art Adventure is actually happening in November for people to sign up and get out to the MIA for an on-site tour. I totally get it. It's not required. There weren't a lot of sessions offered before our November Art Adventure happens here at St. Joe's. Therefore, I'm doing this very high quality video for you to introduce myself, introduce Art Adventure, and show you what's going to happen on the day that you volunteer. When you volunteer, each group will either get this little MIA flyer with all the pieces of artwork on it, depending on their age. So I think this one's K1, 2. And then 3 through 8 students have made this other sheet with pieces of art, the titles of the artwork. And they'll come around to each group and be able to take notes. They don't have to. You don't have to stop everything and tell them, hey, you need to be writing something down. Some kids like to do it. It might keep some kids more engaged in what you're saying. It might not. We are simply going to offer it to every student. That is something that I am taking care of. I'm making the copies of. We will get distributed to the students when they arrive at their time period. When the students arrive, we will be in Social Hall A with 6 stations set up with a chair for you to sit in, with an easel next to you, and each station will have this, board with artwork on it. These are part of the kit that we rented from the Minneapolis Institute of Art. So everything is going to go back to the art museum. So, I mean, they're very sturdy, but also handle with care. You can hold them, walk them around to show the students. I would not let the students physically start touching them or holding them. And then I don't want any corners to be bent. Some of the pieces of art come with extra materials for you to use during your presentation. Like this sound suit comes with this nice little crocheted doily. It's almost like a granny square, but it's in a circle form. And then it has this noisemaker toy because the sound suit has some old metal toys on it. So these can be handled by the students. But, you know, if they're sitting there cranking around this noisemaker, I would definitely politely say, you know what, I think I'm going to take that back right now and hold on to it over here. Some of our pieces also come with some extra laminated pictures to help support the piece of artwork. So I usually hold on to these. Sometimes I just hold them really close to the students and walk around slowly so they can see this extra piece. Again, I'm not sure I want students handling these because I do have to return these to the museum. So when you are sitting in your chair and you have your easel and your piece of artwork here, the way I like to start with each group is just silence. They sit down and I say, thank you for coming today. I'm Mrs. McCullough. And we're going to take a couple minutes to look at this piece of art. I'm going to kind of hold it and walk around your group so you can get a really close view of it. And then we're going to, then we'll talk about it. So usually I just kind of walk around the group and everybody gets a close view of the piece of art. Put it back on the easel, or sometimes when I'm sitting in the chair, especially if I have real small kids in front of me, I just put this on the ground and lean it against my knees so that I can refer back to it. Okay? Now I'm sitting here with my artwork. I have all these eyeballs looking at me, and that's when I'll say, before I've even introduced the artist or the name of the artwork, I'll say, tell me about it. What did you see? What did you observe? And then they just like to talk about the artwork. What I find in this packet to be very helpful is on this last page, usually before the notes, after you've read the description of the artwork, it has these suggested questions, and these can help guide that first introductory part of the conversation for you. So for instance, this sound suit says, let's look closely. Oh, what makes you think you could wear this? And then the kids will start talking, oh, look, it covers the arms, it covers the legs. It looks like a bodysuit, but I don't really get what all this stuff is, right? We could ask questions like, what do you think this smells like? Do you think this was heavy to wear? Do you think it was comfortable to wear? Do you think you would like to wear it too? So I might take 2 to 3 minutes asking questions. Usually the kids have a lot to say about their artwork that they're looking at. After that, I say, you know, you guys have a lot of really great comments. It looks like you looked at the artwork really closely. Now I'm going to tell you some stuff about the artwork. I'm going to tell you about who made the art, who the artist is, and what the artist used. So then I would introduce it and say, this particular piece of artwork is called a sound suit, and the artist is Nick Cave. He's from the United States. He's actually from Chicago. If you've ever been to Chicago, that's where he lives, and that's where he creates his artwork. Now, this isn't the only piece of artwork that Nick has created. He's created many other sound suits. So I have a picture here of all these other suits that can be worn that Nick Cave has made. And if we look closely at these suits and at this suit, we'll see that not everything like matches or not everything's the same. We see a lot of things going on here. You know, we see some parts that are knit together. We see some parts that are made out of metal and that are mounted on like these sticks. The really cool thing about this artist, Nick Cave, is that he takes objects that he just finds, like at thrift stores, and he puts them together and he creates a suit that a person could really wear, But these suits are so magical that they're pieces of art, really. And that's how they ended up in museums. Yes, they're made to wear, they're made to be danced in, to have music going on around you, but they're also a really amazing piece of art that he put together. So you're going to talk about the artwork for a couple minutes. Kids might have some more questions. I mean, really, you don't have to get into detail. You don't have to sit here and just read this to them. You have to share why the artist made the artwork, what inspired them, what they used. I like to include the year that the artist was born, if it's available, and the year the artwork was made. It just helps give a little bit more like was this made in the 1800s or was this made in the 1980s? Like how old is this artwork? And you're going to find that your time is going to go really fast. And that's okay. You do not have to include every single detail. You don't have to do a deep dive into the art. We're presenting it to the kids. We're going to ask the kids how they feel about it, what makes them happy about it, what maybe it doesn't do anything for them. We have a large variety of pieces of art in this set. Hopefully kids will lean towards one over the other of what they prefer, what they like. But the students will help you guide those minutes. I don't think you'll be sitting there with just eyeballs, people staring at you, and you shouldn't really be that uncomfortable, right? Some kids really have plenty to say. There's a lot in this booklet, and you are just going to gauge, like I said, you do not have to memorize every single word and regurgitate it back to the student. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for volunteering, and I really look forward to welcoming our volunteers back that we've seen before and then meeting some of our new volunteers. Thanks.